By making this video, I'm putting myself and my family in a very dangerous situation. Today, I'm gonna expose the supercar dealer that scammed me out of £270,000. 7 months ago, I bought a Lamborghini Aventador SV blind, which when I saw it for the first time, I was blown away by, and not for the right reasons. The paint was different colors, the engine light came on within 10 miles, and it only got worse from there. The dealer denied all knowledge of the problems, but promised me he would get it fixed. This again was a lie, and after 7 months of chasing, the dealer refused to solve the issues. I was then forced to make a video with the hopes the dealer would reach out to make things right. But what he has done instead will shock you. The last 6 weeks, the car's been with Lamborghini Edinburgh. On top of all the previous problems, Lamborghini Edinburgh has found significantly more issues. These issues will leave me in a very bad situation and will cost me tens of thousands of pounds to repair. The car at this moment in time doesn't even start. The issue with the car is something that Lamborghini Edinburgh has never seen before.
It's the first time we've obviously seen this.
I've dropped over £250,000 on this car, and it looks like it's going to cost me tens and tens of thousands of pounds more. The dealer has dodged responsibility several times. If you've watched the last video, you can see that he shifted the responsibility of the SV's paint problem towards another dealer. That dealer reached out to me to tell his side of the story. George reached out yesterday and he says, I saw your video, mate. I am absolutely gutted for you. Please know that me and my team are here to help and support you moving forward. I really appreciated that, George.
Anytime. It's never nice to see someone get stung on a car, and I saw that video over the weekend, and a lot of people reached out and they were thinking that we had something to do with it, and that's why I thought, hold on a second, I know the car, there's a £250,000 Aventador, but
yeah,
no one should be stuck with that, especially if it's not starting. So
you mentioned that you knew the car very well. You actually had the car yourself a few times, didn't you?
Yes, so we were the dealership that bought that car the very first time. I did lose track of the car for a couple of years. I know about 3 of its owners.
Have you seen the clip where stated that he's questioning your workmanship?
The funny thing is, as soon as I heard that, I was like, because I was literally watching it as an avid fan of yours. I was looking at it, and then I thought, okay, hold on, what's happening here? And then I saw GV, and then suddenly my ears perked up, and I'm like, hold on, what's this about?
What do I have to do with this?
Funny thing is, it then came back to memory, and as I was watching it, I was like, actually, hold on a second, this does ring a bell, because you cleverly didn't say name. I then remembered I had a phone call about 5 or 6 months ago from saying, this car, you guys have supplied it before, have you got any invoices for any of the work that you've done, or is there any works that you guys have done on it, paint work and so on, do you know anything about the car? And I was like, I'll have a look into it, and I thought it was a bit weird, thinking that I haven't heard of the car for the last year or two, like, why are you asking me? What he did say to me at the time was like, I'm dealing with an absolute arsehole of a client, I can't tell you who it is, but yeah, it's giving me a nightmare. I sold this car and it's an absolute nightmare. I'm
not gonna lie, I'm a wee bit shocked with that. Spent £270,000 on this car. I've given him 6 months to rectify the challenges, and then he is calling me an arsehole of a customer. I feel a wee bit offended with that.
I saw a bit where you produced a health check. We have a service centre alongside our dealership, and we do health checks left, right and centre. I have never seen a handwritten health check in my life. I'm sorry, you buy a brand new car with even 100 miles on the clock, even then, not everything can be great. Like, yes, perfect. Not trying to put you down over here, but had I saw that health check, I'd run a mile. If someone showed me that report, I'd tear it up and throw it in the bin and say, I don't want to see that car again in my life.
I now realise I made a big mistake, and you guys are completely right. I've read your comments and I should have walked away, like George said. But in my defence, I was misled. If we look at the advertisement on the website of this dealer, he stated that it had Lamborghini main dealer service history. However, when speaking with someone from Lamborghini, we figured out that this car was only serviced twice.
So there was no evidence that it actually had any services.
It missed its first required service. It had its second service done. It missed its third, fourth and fifth service, and we have just done its sixth service. Effectively, the main dealer history is non-existent. Looking at the history of this dealer, this is not the first time he's misled people.
Initially, I reached out to back last year when I saw he had Aston Martin DBS up for sale on his Instagram. There was a couple of images which were sent over initially. Absolutely looked flawless. Wasn't really an issue there at all. Straight away he sent over the VHC docs and all the invoices for the work that's meant to be carried out to get it up to warranty standard, which, to be fair, was quite reassuring initially. I was quite happy to kind of proceed based on, subject to inspection at that point, just because, reputation kind of looks good, quite transparent. I've seen relatively decent documents to kind of back that up. Went down to the showroom, really nice warm greeting, warm welcome, a bit of a tour around. From that point, we went down to the car, had a look around it. I could tell it was really well used. There was quite a lot of corrosion points on the bodywork. You could see a little bit of overspray on certain points, which is a bit disappointing to kind of see because it didn't really kind of show up on any of the images. You'd think, you're a dealer, you would actually get it to spec and then advertise and then sell.
When we consign a watch, we service the watch, and before we put our name on that watch is already pristine.
The invoices that were kind of sent over initially had all these, figures on there. They had all the, specific points about the corrosion of the brake lines, other little elements on there as well, which kind of made sense. But obviously, as I was speaking to previously, there was no kind of details on any of these reports for the dealer who actually did the inspection, nor kind of quoted the works really. So it was a bit difficult. Did have a second opinion just from elsewhere, and they said, look, we don't really feel that those reports are good enough. But I definitely feel personally that I've been misled.
On the topic of misleading, if you ever bought a car on finance, this is probably the most valuable thing you hear today. So before we talk to someone that probably has the most outrageous story about this dealer, did you know car dealers for years, like this guy, have been pocketing commissions secretly on finance deals like PCP and HP and not telling customers? This has been going on since 2007, and millions of people were overcharged without even realizing it. So if you've ever had a car on finance, there's a real opportunity to claim back a lot of money. But here's the catch. Just like the dealer that sold me my car, lenders can try and cover up their tracks and are already potentially deleting the data that could prove that you are missold. And if your address or phone number has changed since then, they may never be able to contact you, even if a payout is due. That's where Reclaim 24/7 comes in. Their free online tool can instantly find any finance agreement dating back to 2007, even if you don't have the paperwork anymore and if your lenders deleted the data. You just enter your name, address, and date of birth, and that's it. If there's a potential claim, it immediately gets reviewed by specialist solicitors, and it's all done on a no-win, no-fee basis. It takes 2 minutes, it costs nothing to check, and you could be owed thousands. So don't wait around. Check now at Reclaim 247 or click the link below to get started. So far, Lamborghini Edinburgh has replaced a fuel pump, an e-gear pump, and brand new ECU, which cost over £10,000. So naturally, after all that work, I was expecting a phone call from Lamborghini Edinburgh that stated the car was fixed. The exact opposite has happened.
Hi Nico, how are you doing? It's Samantha here over at Lamborghini Edinburgh. We are making progress. Whether it be a new gearbox, we need them to say that before we can go ahead and do that.
A new gearbox for an Aventador SV can cost upwards of £50,000. Yet another cost that is mounting up to this financial hole. I genuinely thought and hoped that would reach out after my last video dropped, as I didn't mention his name in the video. So imagine my shock that he didn't reach out, but instead posted something on his social media that left me absolutely flabbergasted. What do you think of that post? Wolves don't concern themselves about the opinion of sheep. Literally taking a mock out of me, like, what the hell?
Basically just called you out and said that he's taken advantage of that whole situation.
That's literally what it says. He is a wolf. He is like Jordan Belfort and I'm a sheep and I fell into his trap.
Clearly doesn't know you very well, Nico.
I think it's time for justice then, mate. First of all, I'm a customer.
Yeah.
I'm a customer of his business. And this is how you treat someone with a problem?
Yeah.
That bought a product from your business? I wanted the constructive approach, and that's why in the first video, I never named his name.
The fact that, you didn't put anything out there with his name on it, and people were able to guess that it was him.
Where there's smoke, there's fire, mate.
Maybe you doing this will actually help other people that have had the same sort of thing go wrong.
Oh, I just hit James's car.
Matt, we need a fix.
Crash damage. This is not only just breaking my heart, but it's also nearly breaking me financially. Well, the next guy that reached out wasn't a customer, it was a colleague. Someone this dealer worked with for many years. And what you'll find out now is shocking.
My name's Ricky. I run RE Performance in Swindon. I run a business that services, diagnoses, repairs and tunes supercars. Back in the day, I was very active on a forum called R8 Talk. We started doing little bits for him, like putting exhaust on and stuff like that. And the arrangement when we started was, it was a bit of a deal, mate. It was, I helped him out, he helped me out.
You would modify, or you would add an exhaust at a very sharp price, which you could make a profit off, but he would also then promote your business.
No, he would never promote my business. I was never unhappy with the situation until it got to the point where the demands went up from him and the recognition didn't go with it. And the one that kicked it off was, I did Tom from TGE. I did his Hurricane. Bartered the whole deal, paid me what he paid me. He supplied the exhaust, and I posted a photo on my Instagram of car and Tom's car outside my old workshop, tagged them both in it, and went, great Saturday, sorting exhaust out for these boys, and roof, mate.
I mean, you done all the work. You posted just an Instagram shot because you had a good Saturday. You enjoy your job.
Yeah, mate. I was buzzing. There was no chill, and I was like, all right, mate, no worries, sorry, you know. And what started to happen was people that had used him in the past to have things done to their cars were cutting him out, mate, and come to me. Ben is one of them. You know Ben. Ben literally one day just rung me up and goes, oh, can you sort my car out? And yeah, of course I can. And I've got the messages on WhatsApp of, when you stole my customer off me, Ben was my customer. And I'm like, mate, but you don't do what I do. You sell cars. The two things that really kicked it off where he sold a Larini exhaust system to a customer, fitting the exhaust to the back of this R8. And Larini Cerakoted the entire exhaust, the tips, the clamps and everything. Fitted it all up, talked everything down, car went off. And about 7-8 months later, one of the tips had slipped down and melted the bumper. Straight away, he paid to have a report done. The report was done at my workshop with an independent engineer to show that the exhaust was installed right and the clamps were tight. And what had happened, mate, basically is the heat that had gone through the exhaust and with the Cerakoting, the metal had expanded and it hadn't kept the tightness on the clamps. Yeah. And the exhaust slipped. He had a big fight with Larini. David Larini kind of turned around and said, look, we've kind of stopped doing this. We'll help you out with an exhaust, but the bodywork side of it, we're still going to argue with our insurance, think it's incorrect installation. That's where our insurance can stand, but I'll help you out with a new exhaust. And he flipped on me, mate, like that. Right, you can claim on your insurance now. This is your fault. You can claim. And I'm like, you pay cash, mate. There's no invoice. There's like, you wanted me doing it after work, a bit of cash in hand because you wanted to pay a cheap price. Claim on your insurance. And that's when it turns out that he either didn't have insurance or he didn't want to claim on his insurance. He didn't want to take responsibility for his part of the job, or he didn't understand what his responsibility for the job was. He's literally washed his hands of all responsibility, and he's done it repeatedly. The last one was Podcast Ben. He brought his Hurricane in for a service and a few little bits and pieces, and it had Supercars along the bottom of the number plate, and we were doing a photo shoot with it, so I run a strip of black tape across the bottom of the number plate to block out his name. Call it what you want. I didn't want his name in my... We'd kind of fallen out by then. Yeah. The message he sent me, mate, he told me he was going to come down there and basically kick out of me. That's paraphrasing. If you want a screenshot of what he sent me, I'll give it to you.
What did he say to you?
You childish little... You deserve a smack in the mouth for that. You're a father for 3 kids. You need to grow up. Gone off calling me pathetic, how I've got no integrity. My kids should be disappointed in me.
It's all about and nobody else is allowed to have a wee bit of success. Why do you think I cannot find a single review of performance cars online?
Well, look at what he did with his Instagram the other day. Just stopped all comments. He will not allow anybody to voice their opinion.
Wow.
And when you do voice your opinion, then you're called names and you're threatened.
Called Ben, trying to figure out if I was going to make a video. I called Ben there the other day and I said, Ben, I'm going to use that quote. I am afraid he's going to shoot me, he's going to kill me.
I think it's intimidation until it actually, how far you're willing to go.
Anyway, Ricky, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
You're welcome, mate.
I honestly cannot believe that. I now want to talk directly to the dealer. How can you live with yourself when you treat customers like this? Threatening to break someone's legs in front of their children. How can you do this? This time, you're not getting away with it. Your customers give their hard-earned money to often make purchases that are milestone moments for them. I hope just by naming you, yes, you, Philip Ireland, that this stops forever and that nobody else will fall in your trap. And to everyone else watching, I feel incredibly lucky and I'm extremely grateful for all the support during this situation. The success of the last video will cover a significant amount of the money I had to pay to cover Philip's scam. So now if you want to find out if my SV is actually getting fixed, please subscribe to the channel now. And if you have ever been scammed by a car dealer, please put your stories in the comments now. I will read them all. Thank you for watching.